disappointed in the vote with the United States Congress on the economic rescue plan. We put forth a plan that was
all right,
big
thanks, Joe.
because we got a big
we're still looking for the WMDs. We're still mired in Iraq, and you're looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, I have in front of me some things in this bill that was stuffed in by Democrats that'll make your hair stand up. You ought to be thankful that the Democrats, who are fiscal conservatives, joined Republicans to kill this bill. Did you know what they stuck in there? Affordable housing earmark went in there. Did you know that? And this provision was not part of the original Treasury plan. La Raza gets a lot of the money. Affordable housing earmark for La Raza was worked into it by your good friends in the government. Did you know that troubled assets were added to this? Did you know that the Treasury Department's original request for mortgage-related assets has been broadened to include more classes of securities, including those backed by car loans and credit card debt? That was tacked on. Pork barrel again by the same porkers who should be thrown in jail. Never mind thrown out of office. You see gangsters running the government, and you wonder why it went down. I'll tell you the truth. The people spoke, and we find out we still do have a voice. You know, it's 24 minutes after the hour right now, and on the East Coast, it's almost sundown. And many of my listeners on the East Coast are going to turn the show off because they observe the most important holiday of the year for Jewish people called Rosh Hashanah, which means the head of the year, meaning it's New Year's Eve. And they will be leaving me. And it's important that I make that note for three reasons. One, because this is a nation founded upon the principles of Judeo-Christian values, make no mistake about it. And the more you know about Jewish holidays and the relationship to Christian holidays and traditions, the stronger you will be as an American, irrespective of whether you are a practicing religious person or not. And I intend to spend a few minutes today talking about the meaning of religion in general without specifying. And I think I'll do that in the next 3 minutes before I get back to finances, and I will tell you why. Because it's times like this that are going to have many people searching their soul. Many of you listening to the show will have been wiped out by this crisis before this is over, or you have already lost your 401k or your pension plan, whether you know it or not. And many of you are going to think the world is coming to an end. Well, one world ends, another world begins. One world ends, another world begins. From the beginning of time, tragedies have occurred, both personal, financial, physical, you name it. Sure, it's the end of the world in some ways, but it's the beginning of another world, maybe a kinder world, a gentler world, a more meaningful world, a deeper world, instead of a showy world, a world where everything is just simply what I own, what I wear, what I this, what I that, I. Maybe you'll come to understand that there's a higher authority, a higher power. As Albert Einstein, one of the great minds of the last century, the man who discovered E equals MC squared, he was the theoretical physicist who gave us the foundation for the engineering that created the atomic bomb, for better or for worse. It made us a superpower and, of course, permitted most of us to live rather than dying, because had he not broken open the concept of E equals MC squared, perhaps, just perhaps, if we didn't have the technological know-how that we had in this country, Germany or Japan would have gotten the bomb first, and we would have been snuffed out. That's the kind of war it was. It was called total war. So for better or for worse, here we are. What I want to say to you is Albert Einstein said that a life without purpose is not worth living. A life without purpose is not worth living, is what Einstein said in his dying days, as he lay dying and still writing his physics, the theory of everything. As he lay dying, he said that a life without purpose is not worth living. And what I'm getting to you is there's got to be more purpose to life than getting and spending. Sure, getting and spending is wonderful. We all do it. We all scurry after the next fragment of gold like the people we are. We have been from the beginning of time. Man has always chased money. But remember what I just said to you. You can learn to live with less. You can learn not to go on 10 vacations a year. You can learn not to have 10 cars. There are many things you can learn to live without. And what I'm telling you is you're going to have to learn to live in a different way, and we all will. And if you study your religious teachings, you know what it's all about? Humility. All of religion is about teaching you to live in bad times. Who needs religion when things are good? Do you cry out for God when things are going well and you made $1 million or $10 million? Or everything is coming up roses? You tend to turn away from God. It's only when tragedy strikes As my father many years ago was dying in a hospital, I remember some of my uncles saying, and I don't know who, this is when we turn to God. We only turn to God when things go bad. Maybe it was meant in a bitter, cynical way. I really didn't understand it. I was a little kid. Yeah, well, I understand that. Many people understand that too. There are no atheists in a foxhole. As I say to you, there are many things to be gained from bad. This is an opportunity for America. It's an opportunity for this nation to rediscover its roots that were not built upon greed and the worship of Mammon. Forget the golden idol.
Savage.